right, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is the Planning Commission meeting on Tuesday, August 26th at 5:30 p.m. We do have a quorum of commissioners present, and let the record also reflect we have Town Clerk Hurd present as well. Could I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
It's been moved by Commissioner Sommerfeld, and a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dalton. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The agenda is adopted. Okay. Agenda item number 3, approval of the minutes from August 13th. Everyone should have received those. Are there any questions or comments on the minutes? Okay. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from August 13th?
So moved.
I'm going to give it to Dolores. And a second.
Second.
And second by Commissioner Sommerfeld. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So we have approved the minutes from August 13th. All right, moving on to agenda item number 4. I know this was discussed at the last meeting. I was telling Commissioner Sommerfeld earlier, I did watch the video recording from the last meeting just to kind of stay up with how everything went. It looked like it was a pretty smooth meeting, and poor Councilman Ellis sounded like he was just very sick. I think he's much better now, but
He was not well.
he shouldn't have been there. Yeah, I think so. I felt terrible because I didn't realize he had gotten sick. But anyway, he's much better now. So I did want to go over the Star Valley Ranch Association applications for rezoning and plat amendment, which I know was discussed last time. And the reason I wanted to I kind of just wanted to go over the schedule. And one of the items you have printed out in the papers in front of you should be this planning timeline that Jamie and I put together. And just to kind of keep us all on track to where we are with this.
This is for any and all.
This is for this specific Star Valley Ranch Association application. Yeah.
Right?
Yes. So the two processes, we have the plat amendment process, and then we have the rezoning, and they have slightly different timelines. So we went through and just said, okay, check, we've done these things, and here's what's coming next. So the thing that happened since the August 13th meeting, Town Clerk Hurd did provide written notice to the association that the town said we would move forward with the rezoning process, and I know there had been some kind of questions bubbling around about whether or not we could, and I think there was some comments, I don't know if it was by email or in person, about the town couldn't do the rezone because,
That was presented in person by
Mr. Horton. That's right, okay.
Yes.
However, the town attorney has reviewed everything, and it is his recommendation that the town move forward with the rezone, and so that is why Jamie went ahead and sent the letters out. And I just wanted to read a couple things that the town attorney sent. So I'm going to read this. I'll forward it to you after the fact here, but he said that as far as his rationale for recommending that the town proceed, he believes that by changing the lot configurations from 4 individual residential lots to 1 large recreational parcel, that the association has modified the property so that it no longer meets the town's residential zoning requirements. So among other requirements, our town zoning allows 1 single-family dwelling on an area greater than 0.25 acres. The association has never had residential dwellings on these properties, and the association's proposed development shows no residential dwellings once the property is reconfigured. So he had that, and then for his second rationale is that those lots are already grandfathered in for recreational activity. And so I think the other item I printed out for you is this Appendix C, which is currently in our ordinances. And it shows that the following lots are approved for special use prior and grandfathered. And it specifically shows 11, 12, 13, and 14 as grandfathered for recreational activity. So that was his second reason for the town being on good ground to move forward with the rezone.
So when did this happen? Do you know?
I
think
confess,
it's at the beginning.
I think it did too. Like it goes, when you look at the code numbers on here, you'll see that it says, so the last time this was even changed was in 2012, but the original code numbers show like 9.05 point blah. That was the old code numbering.
Right.
So I think you're right, Commissioner Dalton, that this has been in place since they put all the ordinances together. So it's been, it was sort of recognized initially that that's what these lots would be for. So, and I can tell you I've read Appendix A and Appendix B, but for some reason I never looked at Appendix C. So it's very nice that the attorney pointed that out.
Nice.
May I ask while we're talking about this,
Sure.
what some of the comments were? What was their rationale? Do you right off the hand remember?
Well, so one of the concerns, I think, I don't know if Mr. Horton voiced it at the meeting or not, was that, I
Oh,
guess,
They weren't here.
oh, they weren't
No.
here?
They weren't here for the last meeting.
Okay, okay. Maybe it was some emails that he sent, that were sent to the town, but there's been threats of litigation in the past when the association has wanted to rezone these and do things with them, and so nothing's ever happened. I can tell you, we have that same threat right now, that the town will get sued and the association will get sued if we do this. And the town attorney said, you're in your right to do it, to bring it on, essentially. So, and I'm glad we had him look at it, because he said that things are significantly different this time with the paperwork, with the fact that they're combining the lots first, then going to ask for the rezone, and the town already has these grandfathered for recreational use, so he thinks the town is fine. Don't know if there will be a suit or not, but we're not going to not do something because someone threatens litigation. That's
Right.
my opinion, and
It's
the attorney
it's
seems to
probably
agree.
the same group, probably the same group
Yes.
that did it before.
And that was basically, his last reason was what we were just talking about, that the threat of litigation should not preclude the town from acting, so anyway, it's good to have his opinion. So I wanted to go through that and look at the timeline. So the next thing coming up, we don't have any action tonight. Do you know, Jamie, if the association has started sending out their notices yet for the rezone?
They actually called me today, and I told them just hang tight. I wanted to see if there was
Anything
after
else?
tomorrow's
Yeah.
meeting or what you said tonight.
I think they can just tell her to move out, yeah. So by the 10th of September, the association will need to have mailed out certified notifications to the property owners within 300 feet of those lots about the rezone. The town's already done that in terms of the plat amendment. It's weird that they're different, like we mailed out the notices for the amendment, but the applicant has to mail them out for the rezone, so not sure why it's like that, but that's how it is in the ordinances. So
And we were okay when everything went out, right? Nobody was,
we haven't, we've had the notice about the plat amendment, the combination, in the paper for a couple times now.
Yep. Two.
You haven't received any comments from anyone yet, so we haven't gotten anything submitted to the town. Now, we could have people come to the meeting on the 10th that want to make comment in person. So,
that meeting will be our meeting on the 10th?
yes, so, no, sorry, September 10th at 5:30, when we have our regular meeting, we will address any comments that are made verbally, and also prior to that meeting, if any comments are received, like by email, we'll make sure the commissioners get those to review. But so at the meeting next month, we're going to make a recommendation to approve or deny the plat amendment, and then that will go to the town council for final approval. So you'll just make the recommendation. And then also on the 10th, the only other thing is that by that date, the association needs to have mailed out their notifications about the rezone, but we won't be taking any action on the rezone. So yeah, I kind of did this more for me, just to keep myself on track, but I thought it might be useful.
Yeah,
And then
that's
Jamie
good.
reviewed it too, and she's like, yeah, this, this is where we are. So I don't know if the town has done a rezone before. It certainly hasn't happened since I've been on the council, and it's not like we have a lot of things to rezone anyway, since most everything is single family.
Right.
But anyway, so new process for me, for sure. Okay, any other questions about the association's applications for a plat amendment or rezone? Everybody square with where we are? Okay, very good. All right, so the next item on the agenda is public comment. We do have some members of the public here. Is there any for Vince or for Dave? Any? Okay, very good. So we'll move on from public comment. All right, next items, we're into agenda item 6, discussion items. I sent out on Sunday evening an updated draft of the email survey questions that'll be for the master plan. And Jamie printed out copies of those.
Thank you.
The only thing that really changed is, I think you saw Jennifer, Commissioner Stewart's email, where she had some recommendations on questions to add, and so I added those in. They're not all in one place. Let's just flip through this real quick. So this first section, community insights, engagement, and vision. All of these questions are directly from the survey that was mailed in 2022 that supported the development of the new mission and vision. So those are just completely stolen from that survey to kind of sort of reconfirm that the opinions that people submitted for the mailed survey have not significantly changed in the past few years.
Can I ask a question here?
Sure.
On the first one, it says, what do you want to do? Continue evolving into a town or preserve a rural field. I really think that needs a little bit more clarification as what does it evolve into a town mean? Does it mean like streetlights and, you know, shops and stuff versus the rural feel? I mean, I don't think it can be stopped basically from evolving into a town, but the town can be developed with a rural feel. But, you know, what am I talking about?
No, I thought the same thing. I questioned the town evolving into a town, and that it has a whole lot of different meanings there.
Yeah.
And, so, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and that was my understanding is that's how it was worded on the survey at the time, so that's
You have to
why
realize when we did that survey, that's when Nancy did it. We were
Yes.
all working, we worked on that.
you guys were in a group and
We
kind of
worked
helped
on that.
develop all of this,
And so at that time, I think things were a little less, I don't know that we really we understood, but we didn't understand. And so we were going by our bootstraps, basically. So I think now that we have a little bit better understanding, because, I mean, if you talk about this, and I'm gonna speak up here, you can talk about continuing evolving to a town, we're not a town, we're rental properties. You know, I mean, I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm in a community anymore. I feel like I'm in a bunch of VRBOs with a bunch of people running around and just abusing our property and then walking away and going, see ya.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think maybe there needs to be some more. And I don't know how you put that in there or how you word it. Am I on base or am I off?
I think you're perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, what are we living in? I think most of the people who live here bought with the understanding they'd have a nice, happy little place and all
Well,
of
a
a sudden
community
it's-
with some camaraderie and stuff, and that just, I mean, we each have our little circles, but we don't really have that, I don't think we have that community feeling. And you can tell by when we offer things that, you know, a lot of people don't show up because they don't care or they just, you know, I mean, I don't know.
So, I mean, it almost sounds like the town, well, the community is evolving into a town because a lot of times, you know, a town is just doing day-to-day business and isn't as focused on like recreational, which is what previously the association, like this whole area was developed, right, as a vacation, recreational kind of resort, right? And then it evolved into a town. So, and with that have been growing pains, right? Some folks feel like we're missing now that community feeling.
But we're not the only one. If you sit and you do some reading, we're not the only town that's really suffering from a lot of verbos and rentals or whatever you want to call them, what you want. But
So
we're not the only town. I mean, there's a lot of people who are suffering with that because they're losing their sense of community.
Right. So
So
the method in my madness when I started pulling this together was I pulled out the questions from that community, from the survey, the mailed survey
Right.
from a few years ago, and kind of left them the wording as is. There is a question about short-term vacation rentals that was part of that survey too. And it had asked regulation, that's on like the back of page 2, regulation of short-term vacation rentals such as those listed on websites such as Vrbo and Airbnb and then you pick not important, somewhat important, blah, blah, blah. So that obviously continues to be a hot topic.
It's been a few years ago, maybe several years ago now, that the town backed off trying to manage short-term rentals and turned it over to the HOA, correct?
No,
No, if anything, it was the opposite. The HOA association hasn't been able to do anything about it, and so everyone then looked to the town to do something about it.
but
So
they
the
did
town-
combine forces to put the document together that's supposed to go into all the VRBOs.
Yes, I think the town still did a bit more of that,
Oh,
but
I
yes,
think
we,
you're right.
we
I think
did,
you're
yeah,
right
but we
there.
did pull in association information to provide. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to me, if you look at the DCCNRs, it says, no businesses, or somewhere in there, it has language basically that says you can't operate a business out of your home.
Right.
What are some of these short-term rentals, in my mind? And of course, this is like the ground we've hoed over and over again. I asked the town attorney the same thing. I'm like, aren't these businesses? And if they are, then how can they operate in a single-family residential zone, trying to go after it that way? And he's like, well,
So-
Yeah.
So to clarify, the spread of the Airbnbs and so forth in this town is under the control of the town?
As far as regulation, yes. We are regulating it because nobody is stopping it. Otherwise, it'd be a even bigger free-for-all than it currently is. I mean, in Rue's mind, there shouldn't be any based on the DCCNRs, but since those are not enforced for various reasons, the town decided to at least regulate the activity that was occurring. That's the way I understood it. And I wasn't on the council when that started, but I kind of helped. That's what got me
And they're
into the
still-
council.
They're still continuing to grow?
I don't know, Jamie, we've had between 50 and 60-ish for kind of,
Well, you just said
Steady
there's two more,
state?
you said there's two more coming in, because that guy putting the building in, and then he's gonna add another one.
yeah, so, but we've had some that have dropped off, people that
Yeah.
aren't doing it
They end up
anymore.
selling their homes. We've had,
Yeah.
like this year, we've had probably, because I went through and compared it from last year, and I would say a handful, like 5 or so that I ended up selling. It wasn't worth short-term rental. So we had a few that dropped off, but then we had a few
You
new ones.
add
So
on.
I think we're still pretty even.
Like,
what
it's
we were
around,
last year.
somewhere between 50 and 60, or 55 and 60, I think. And that really hasn't changed a whole lot.
When things changed with the association, just as a little background, actually, it was when people could identify home businesses on their income taxes.
Mm,
When that came out, that you could be working from home because you had internet,
right,
it changed everything. And so everybody sort of backed off on trying to regulate that because how
Right.
could you?
well, and.
You're in your house, you've got your computer, you're working.
Right, and while I don't know this for a fact, my guess is that initially was to prevent someone having like a storefront, like I'm gonna have my artist
Right.
studio open and have people come and park
Yeah,
and.
they said you can't
you
do,
can't
you
do
can't
that.
put
I
out a
think-
shingle.
Right,
under
that's
that.
what,
But if you're doing your home business,
like all these people that remote work, right?
remote work, that
So,
sort of thing.
so I can understand from that standpoint why that isn't something the association could probably, especially in this day and age, try and pursue.
Oh, you couldn't even know.
Yeah, so let me going back to that first question, maybe I can add some language that kind of clarifies a little bit more what continue evolving into a town means and preserving the rural feel means. Would that probably
Yeah,
help that one?
Yeah.
If you can put your finger on what.
Okay. Let me see what I can wordsmith there. So on page 3, and sorry I didn't number these, I added a category that I titled Land Use, Infrastructure, and Community Services. And that first question is one of the ones that Commissioner Stewart suggested, a level of satisfaction with existing services.
Wait, where are we?
Sorry, top of the 3rd page. I didn't number the pages, but if you
Okay,
flip
water,
to the 3rd.
water infrastructure?
Land Use, Infrastructure, and Community Services.
Yeah, where are we? That's yet another 2 pages over.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm
That's-
thinking sheets, not like
Okay, yeah, third sheet,
3rd sheet, yes.
Okay,
okay.
yes.
So that was one of Commissioner Stewart's questions that we added.
Can I ask about that?
Sure.
Are you asking about existing community services provided by the town? Or are you asking about existing community services, which are things like coffee shops?
I think the intent was existing services provided by the town.
Then I would add that.
Okay, that makes sense to me too, to clarify, by the town, thank you. See, sometimes like, I read it and it makes sense in my brain, and then
Oh, we all do that.
I need like more input, so, okay, I will make that clarification.
Okay.
Trying to see one where we added some of the others. Oh, okay, so then, if you flip over that sheet to the next page, there is a question kind of halfway down the page. Commissioner Stewart had recommended that we add some maybe specific questions about land use, and so I added the short, should the town update its ordinances to allow dwelling space and accessory buildings and detached garages, since that's something that the commission has had to deal with since we've been a planning commission. And her recommendation too was, do we have any other specific building or land use questions that have come up, or that we think we could use, add questions, you know, to kind of help us with those issues in the future. I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head. That's the most recent one.
You're talking about, should the town start by ordinance update the ordinances to allow dwellings? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes, and so are there any other specific questions like that about the building code or about our land use code? You know, that we might want to ask a specific question about. And that was what she had recommended, and unfortunately the building official, Scott Kazier, is out of town this week at some training, so I didn't get a chance to ask him, Scott, in all your inspections and things, are there certain things that keep coming up that, you know, are a problem with the ordinances, or that maybe we should ask, is this something
Do
we
we
want to
even
change?
have to bring this up?
We don't have to, no.
I mean, why give people an idea if they, I mean,
I thought, yeah, and I also thought update, it sounds like, you know, that's the way you
Should we say revise?
change, revise.
Yeah, maybe not
Maybe
update.
not update, but
Okay.
I agree, I think
what did you say?
Just use the word revise instead of update.
but I know this is on people's minds, and I can understand the town wanting to run it out there.
But we don't, I mean, it's just, it was a suggestion she had, and so
Yeah.
I pretty much added everything that she had recommended, or suggested,
Yeah.
I should say. So we certainly don't have to be that specific if we don't want to. I will say that that is the only question that's that specific about one thing, you know, this particular thing. And we could save that for some future survey where we have a number of specific,
Or don't say update
Thanks.
or revise, just say, should the town of Star Valley Ranch maybe allow.
allow, sure,
Yeah,
okay.
just don't say update, don't say revise, just say, should they allow
Allow it, okay,
dwelling space and accessory buildings and detached garages,
okay, I like that,
period.
okay.
I don't like planting that seed.
That's
Well,
exactly what it
I
is.
think that's the thing, though, it's already out there, right? We know there's properties that already have that, and are, quite frankly, after we had the debate a couple months ago, when that variance came before the commission, our ordinances are not clear, right? One sort of leaves the door open to do this, and the other does not. So,
What if we, instead of we say, how would you like to update the ordinances for these specific things? How about, would you like to update any ordinances, period?
oh golly, I'm afraid what that'll bring.
Oh, geez.
Well, what would it bring? I mean,
Well, I think we can't be, in my opinion, we shouldn't be that broad, because this section is trying to get at land use and like building code, so if we were to narrow it down to building code or something like that, otherwise we'll get folks talking about updating ordinances to
Well, that would be-
allow or have bear resistant trash cans, or
Yeah,
who knows
it'll-
what else.
it'll
well,
go
that would
crazy.
be
Which
okay
maybe
if
that's
you,
something
if
to
you
add.
whittled it down, but I just don't like offering the opportunity to say, I wanna rent my shed.
Well, so we could clarify this further, because there's currently in ordinance, in the short-term rental ordinance, it says you specifically cannot rent accessory buildings, detached garage spaces, sheds, shacks, tents, anything like that. So we could add something that clarifies under no terms would these spaces be available for short-term rental or something like that, I don't know.
This was already in our ordinance,
Yes.
blah, 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 blah.
This would just be like if the homeowner, the family, or the person that lives there wants, like the gentleman that came in, I've forgotten his name now, that wanted to have the dwelling space in his accessory building, said he was just wanting it because he has a large family that comes to visit, so it would just be for his family. That's kind of what this is trying to get at. Do you want to have more space for your family,
You know,
not to rent it out?
that's not manageable,
So,
I could,
Yeah, people have been making space for family coming in with, cots and sleeping bags for
sure,
years.
yeah, I mean, we have an ordinance that says you can't, somewhere it says you can't use your RV to like have your family sleep in your
Yeah, right.
driveway.
you're
Oh,
liable,
really? I didn't know that.
you're
Yeah.
liable to get somebody take a run at this based on, yeah, I can have people in my detached garage, but what about the guy who wants people in his attached garage? So,
But I don't know, we don't have anything about that anyway, so, I mean, that's like part of the main house, so we're not regulating, we're trying to regulate anything someone has in their home. You're proposing we would be able to tell someone they couldn't sleep in their attached garage if they wanted to.
I don't know, I just, somebody's gonna walk in here, if this passes as such, somebody's gonna
Well-
walk in and say, I want a variance then to allow my attached garage to be
Well-
a rental.
And remember, this is just a survey to get opinions that are gonna feed into the master plan. This is not,
I
so we
think we
can-
need to make it clear that that's what it's for. It's not something that's gonna happen, folks.
right, and I mean, at the very beginning,
It's going into a long-range.
yes, it says as
Plan.
part of the process for the 2025 update of the Town of Star Valley Ranch Master Plan, we would like input from residents to the following questions and to reconfirm alignment with our town's mission and vision. So it's really, the thought process, when I talked to Nancy Ellis about doing this, since she spearheaded the mailed survey that went out in 2022, and that also was supposed to support the master plan update that should have already happened. So in my mind, I'm like, well, if that is a few years old now, shouldn't we do some sort of update? It doesn't have to be a survey that's mailed to every single household in the town. And she said, well, we could do an email survey. It won't be quite as, hands-on, but it would at least give you some feedback that, yes, generally people are still, the opinions that come in should not deviate substantially from the results of that mailed survey from 2022. I wouldn't expect it to, but who knows?
So we're updating the ranch master plan. We want input from residents to the following questions to reconfirm. I think what doesn't work for me is with our town mission and vision, because actually, it's gonna go into
So there's
as you said, the master plan. I mean, the mission and vision doesn't,
So this might help. So chapter 6 of the master plan, which hasn't been completed yet as far as the update, chapter 6 will have a complete summary and recap of the 2022 survey that was mailed out and what those results were. So the thought process is that in addition to that, chapter 6 would have, and in 2025, an email survey provided these results so that we could then draw some conclusions that, generally residents are still, they still have the same basic opinions that they had 3 years ago. It's just,
right, but that's not the town's mission and vision 3 years ago. I mean, the mission and vision have been there from day one. We're looking to reconfirm the alignment with the master plan.
let me see here. I was looking at,
With the new master plan.
the results of the form. Okay, so mayor, blah, blah, blah. So we could say to inform the master plan and future council or town actions or something like that. Not just tie it to,
The mission and vision.
yeah, okay, let me work on that
Yeah, in
wording.
fact, you might even whip the sentence around and start out, we would like input from residents to the following questions to reconfirm alignment with our ongoing process for the 2025 update of the Town of Star Valley Ranch Master Plan.
That's good.
Okay, I will work on that verbiage. Okay,
And I've got a couple of in-between ones.
okay,
That I thought, so we get over after the water, where was I seeing? I got all my pages turned over.
should have put page numbers on this.
Roads. Improving roads.
Okay,
Now, this is on the back of the first page.
okay,
So immediately I say, we've improved the roads.
And we're going to continue with the new equipment, right?
yes,
Yeah,
that is the
equipment
plan.
And things like that. So improving roads, I think people will say, does that mean you're going to pave them?
Mm-hmm,
And maybe that is. But of course, I'm not against improving roads. I just wondered if we need a little,
Isn't there something else further on that says something about paving roads?
yeah, and so that particular question is just, again, from the original mailed survey. It was tied to the question that said, please read the following list of issues facing Star Valley Ranch, keeping in mind that not every issue can be a top priority. Rate each issue as not important, somewhat important, important, or very important. So that's in that group, but there is another question, you're right, about roads somewhere.
It's what capital improvements are most important to the town, and paving roads is one of them.
Yeah,
so you put it there.
So it's redundant, basically.
Yeah,
there.
it's a little, but that, my question was, you know, we've been doing a lot of improvement on the roads, what's left, I guess? And the same for the next question, water infrastructure. I said, completing water infrastructure, what's left? I thought we'd done it.
oh, I know.
What if we put on roads, just continue roading,
Everyone says that. So
you know?
there is, the distribution system should be done this year, which has been a huge chunk. And there's been so much else that was also done leading up to the
Okay.
distribution system, but there's still some big pieces left. There's a transmission line that comes down from the Prater Spring that needs to be replaced. It's actually in the town's budget to do that.
And you say something here about, I know there's something about the tanks.
Yes, and then there's, where is that? Replacement of water storage tanks. That's in the same one that Commissioner Sommerfeld was just referring to. There's a question about what capital improvements are most important for the town. Select from the options below. So you can check as many as you want on that one.
Oh, I don't think I realized that.
Yeah, so it's when it's printed out like this, the round ones are you select an answer, yes or no, or pick the answer you want. If it's a square, it's sort of multiple choice, but you can select numerous options if you want.
Please clarify that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, this one just says select from the
Yeah,
options
right.
below.
So when you actually are on the survey though, you'll see that you can, I mean, and I can add that, but it'll be more intuitive when you're actually on the survey, because if you check one, it won't let you check another one. But I can make that clarification, just so everyone understands. Let's see, okay, what other ones, Commissioner Dalton?
Those were the ones that I just immediately had questions about.
Okay.
And, but I've got something else here. Report abuse of the. What was I thinking of? No, I don't know what it is. I must have been thinking of some other thing.
On the next to the last page, there were a number of recommendations from Commissioner Stewart that I did add, such as, are you a year-round or seasonal resident? describe your employment circumstances, why do you live in Star Valley Ranch, and then open-ended questions at the end, which ask, what do you like most about living in the town, and then what is one thing that could be improved in the town. So that lets people type whatever they want.
Right.
Okay, well, I will make the edits recommended and send out another version.
Do you know, and here's another one, since we're talking about squares and circles. What capital improvements are most important for the town of Star Valley Ranch? I would like to see that ranked.
Okay, oh, being a ranked
Allow
one?
people to rank it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
yeah.
good idea. Hold on, let me get back to that one. Of course
Because
not.
those are all important.
All right, so make this a ranking question. Okay, I can do that. It's good feedback. And then let me make a note about clarifying, select a single answer or multiple answers.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, I think this is really gonna be helpful and
I think it's gonna be really interesting to
and
see
interesting, yeah.
what we get in. Okay, so I will make these changes. I'm kind of leaning now towards maybe just getting rid of the dwelling space one altogether. But we'll see what happens when I do these edits. But I will send it back out to everyone. I would like to probably try and get this survey emailed out no later than the middle of September, only because I'd like to put a timeline on it, like please submit your answers by October 15th or something like that, because we then need time to review and plus compile the summary of what we got back and put it in the master plan and finish chapter 6, so.
I think
I'd like to ask a question.
Yes.
Just backing up again to the Airbnb thing, with exactly what Dolores says, that they take away the feel of home. And what percent is our town built out now?
About 65%.
Okay, 65%, and there's what, 60 Airbnbs that we know about, that are licensed. There's some that aren't. Is there a way to cap the Airbnbs going forward? Is there a way to stop it? I guess the question goes back to, does the town want Airbnbs? The people that run this town, do they want Airbnbs? Did the people who all of a sudden have one next to
Maybe that
them?
would be a good question for the survey.
Did the people who didn't want Airbnbs all just suddenly have one next to them? I mean, it has just changed the taste of the town.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't have them in our subdivision. And move to our subdivision. And
Can't afford it.
I can fix that. And, I just, the thing over here with the pickleball court, and that little 90-year-old, 100-year-old lady who'd lived there for the last 40 years, all of a sudden she's got that thing.
Where's this at?
On Cedar Creek, where
You know,
the geodesic dome home,
The warehouse-looking thing that's got the pickleball
yeah,
court.
Neoma, yeah.
I mean,
Heaps,
can we cap the growth on those things?
So I'll tell you, we've kind of wrestled with this on the town council on how can we do something like that? Can we cap it? Can we do something? And we have not been able to implement anything, again, seeking legal counsel before moving forward on things like that. The town attorney really doesn't want Star Valley Ranch to be the test case for every other town in Wyoming on whether or not we can do something like this, because there's no legal precedent in Wyoming to be able to prevent someone from doing that with their property, with Wyoming being such a strong property rights state.
Well, some people have put, I don't want to say put holds on it, but have, what's the word I want to use? What's the word I'm trying to think of?
Well, there's some,
They're not putting a hold on, but they're,
well, they only allowed in certain zones.
yeah, but that's not the
That's
word,
not what you're-
there's a word I'm trying to, it's, moratorium.
Right,
Some towns are putting moratoriums on them,
yeah.
and there doesn't seem to be any legal issues there, so I'm just curious.
Well, and we were looking too at, could we use zoning to try and at least limit, you know, the number of homes per plat maybe, or in certain areas of the town? Because they certainly are more concentrated, I would say. I probably can't even say that anymore. They're kind of all
They're
over.
all over, they're all over.
So, it's certainly something we'll keep looking at. We just haven't been able to find a way to do that.
You know, what particularly bothers me is these people who come in here and build a place with no intention of ever living in it, just renting it. I mean,
And they don't live in the state, I mean, can you say you have to live in the state to own one, or is that?
well, the pickleball guy lives in Idaho.
Yeah, well, there's some people that live in Florida and have never been here, they just bought the houses, they're living in Florida or someplace
Sure.
like that, they've never.
And the guy that just wanted to squish down his lot setbacks is putting in 2 homes. One he said was specific to rent. I mean, it's like,
Yeah,
where does this stop? So you extrapolate out, we're 65% built out with 60 plus Airbnbs that we know about it, so we're looking at probably 100.
because
I don't think it's that high.
2,000, how many lots were there?
2040, I think, originally.
I was trying to think when they sent that survey out for the election last year, 2,250 or 25, something like 200,
I think as far as number of lots,
yeah, 2,200. Of course, we've
there's-
had a lot of them.
I thought it was 2040, but, I mean, it's something the town council will keep looking at, but again, haven't found, a way to get after it that won't get us
In trouble.
sued. And I
Yeah,
guess,
well,
you know,
I
there we
get
are with
that.
litigation and
I
not
get
doing
it.
anything.
I get it.
Well, let's go ahead and move on,
Okay.
since we won't solve it, unfortunately.
No, I'm not going to.
The next item is I wanted to talk about the variance process briefly again, and I thank you for all the work that was done on this last time. Clerk Hurd did send out the updated application form that includes all the changes that were recommended last time, which I believe adding the plat and lot number, changing the language as far as the justification for the variance to match the ordinance language exactly. I think there was also kind of flipping a couple of the sections around. And what else is on here?
I kind of liked an upfront statement about, I want to do this. And then that below that large area for why I want to do this can still be left. But I think, you know, it'd be nice to look at this and right off the bat, somebody says, I want to do this.
Right, so,
And this is how, and then these ordinance questions, not affected, this is what's affected.
so really to switch 2 and 3 around.
Yeah. kind of,
Okay,
yeah.
I mean, I kind of agree with that too.
Yeah,
Okay,
So,
Just
I'm just
cut to the
looking-
chase
So you
here.
want to switch 2 and 3 back to?
yeah, the way they
it was
were,
originally?
yeah.
that was better.
I
You know,
kind of agree with
my problem
that.
with the first time was though, if you've never done this before, isn't it repetitive that you read this, what it says, you write down everything you want to do, and then you turn the page and here are the things that you can't do?
Well, it's not that
Don't
here
you
are the
need to see
things
the
that you,
king?
it is here are the things you can't do, but if a person states up front, I want to do this, and then they have to work their way through everything, it's the same basic net effect, but I think for the people like us that are looking at this, instead of having to read through all the reasons why it's okay to get to the point, what they want to do, they say up front, just a one-line statement, I want to move my setbacks.
Oh, if they're just doing a one-line statement, that would be all right.
Right,
Yeah,
But we left a big
section, yeah.
section there.
well, then that's open for them if they want to add further comment.
Well, let's
versus-
run it and see how it works.
Because it's very possible that a one-line statement will take care of 100% of what they want to say.
Right. Okay,
Let's run it.
okay, let's,
I still think it's it's, confusing.
I
that
think,
way, but Try it.
so we could also look at it this way. So after the applicant information, maybe there's a brief section, almost how you've put plat and lot number in there to be identified, that you would have to put in, because it says, in section 3 currently says, describe the specific zoning regulation from which you are requesting relief. So you could have something right after the applicant's information that says that, and they have to put in the ordinance number. And, you know, this is, I want relief from this particular ordinance, and then, I don't know, to kind of make it a one-line thing. But I don't know if you want to,
Don't give them a lot of room to talk.
Absolutely.
all right, well, Jamie and I will fiddle with that.
Keep fiddling.
And then the only other thing I had on this was, on the very last page, harmony with regulations is repeated twice on the bullets under references. It says reference variance standards, and then, so I think that's just a duplicate.
So it's on twice, oh, it is.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
totally missed
just take
yeah.
that out. All right, well, we'll fiddle with it a little bit more and then send out one more round, and then we'll put it into action. I think the other thing too is, when someone goes to use this form for the first time, that'll help us too,
Oh, yeah,
because we'll
that's
see,
true.
you know, it's always the devil's in the details when you actually start using something, right? So we'll give it a shot and see how it
Yeah.
goes. Okay, thank you for the input on that. All right, the last item, part of the information that was sent out was there's a Vista Park proposal that was done by the town landscaping and gardening committee a number of years ago, I think in
Yes.
2019. Currently, there are some grant opportunities that the town thinks we could try and go after that might help us move out on doing some things with that development of that park, whether we call it, I think originally it was called Vista Park, but more recently the town has been referring to it as the Town Commons. But so I wanted to just bring it up, and the document, it's called TSVR Vista Park Project Description that was sent out, and that's, Commissioner Albers, what you were looking at before the meeting started. So the drawing that's there on the very first page is one of the drawings from the original Parks and Landscaping Committee, like, ideas. It's certainly not set in stone.
Yeah, I've
Put
read
it upside
I've
down,
seen
then
it.
could be.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is all this space right over here next to Town Hall, behind the First Response Center, kind of where the old mail building used to be. So let me just real quick, there are 3 different grants and we do have someone that's helping the town with grant writing now, so we're trying to leverage him and the timeline for these grants. There's a Business Ready Communities Planning Grant, which I believe is a Wyoming grant, but you could get anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 there. There's a T-Mobile Hometown Grant, which again, you could get up to $50,000. And then there are the Semi-Quincentennial Initiatives Grant through the state, so the America 250 celebration. The state has funding earmarked for that, and the condition on that one is that whatever you're gonna do has to be tied to the semi-quincentennial in some way. And a lot of towns that are applying for that and getting funding for it are using artwork, you know, or something like that to incorporate into whatever they're doing.
Well, that's
So,
worth about 25,000.
up to 25,000, yeah.
25,000.
Are these matching grants?
Some of them, let's see, I think if I got this right from Trevor, that one of the grants could be used as a matching grant for another, but I may be wrong about that.
Okay, I have a question for you, just out of curiosity. We don't allow prefabricated mobile units, do we? It says here that, or we could acquire prefabricated mobile units. Does that apply to the lots and not to down here, or,
Oh, here we go.
'cause I don't, prefab,
Yeah.
They're just talking about putting up shelters.
no, it says here, the town can build a 3-sided shelter with bench seating and lighting facing Vista Drive, or acquire prefabricated mobile units that can be used at this location, or add, move to other location as needed.
Yeah, I think it's still,
So are we talking,
I don't know what that means.
well, I
that's
think,
why I'm asking about prefabricated mobile units, is that a, yeah,
I think
I
it's-
don't care, I just.
I
wanted to
believe
make
it's,
sure.
it means, it's still talking about like a picnic shelter, but it's just something that you would buy that's already assembled and could potentially be moved. I don't think
Okay,
it's
so that's not
mobile in
against our
terms
word
of
then.
like mobile building or
Okay, all
home.
right.
That's kind of what came up in my head too, whenever I see
Okay.
that word. So we can certainly clarify the language on this.
Yes,
This
that would
was,
probably be good, because.
yeah, and this is just the initial cut that
Okay.
the grant writer put together to try and get
Okay.
some things down on paper. So that's
We'll
a
just,
good comment there.
Okay,
Well, I think it's an interesting proposal, and the
Mm-hmm.
fact that it goes out 3 years is smart.
yes.
The phasing, I thought, was really smart to do it that way. I know we have a councilman right now that's, you know, kind of interested in getting bus stops back into the, school bus stops back into the budget, which we took out. But actually, one of these grants could be used to incorporate a bus stop into that area across from Town Hall, which is also one of the areas identified in the town's Transportation Alternatives Master Plan, which looks at pathways and bus stops and all those things. And over there has been designated as a place where a bus stop would probably be useful. Bus stops are kind of difficult because we have to own the land to put them on. Most of the places where bus stops would go, the town doesn't own that property, so. But anyway, just food for thought. And so the reason I brought it, wanted the planning commission to look at this, it's in the beginning stages. I would assume we would want some sort of public comment or input on this whole town commons development. I mean, these were original ideas put forth by the Parks and Landscaping Committee. But again, they're not dated, but they're still very useful, but hasn't been in front of the public. So I wanted to get your input on that and also on what we currently have on paper.
Question. Does bus stop mean a place where the bus stops or a place where people will be able to wait for the bus?
It would be both. So the idea for the actual bus stop is to have some sort of little shelter, you know, for kids. If parents wanted to maybe drop them off instead of sit there in their cars, they could at
Is there
least.
gonna be room for parents to park and wait there?
In this particular, across here, potentially, yes. I mean, I think that's kind of what they do now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think
They hang out and
that
wait.
there's space there that they had planned
Yeah.
for parking.
Yeah. I mean, quite frankly, even a, you know, picnic shelter, if there is one over there at some point, could be shelter of sorts, right,
Yeah,
for kids
right.
waiting.
And there's more than one bus that stops there.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But I do think we probably need to, you know, put something, whether it's a public meeting, a survey, I'm gonna go with surveys again, but something that needs to go in front of the public. Maybe we just send out, here's what we're thinking, by email or post notices, just to get some feedback. Because I can guarantee that if the town just decides to move forward with this based on a 2019, you know,
Vision.
site plan that was laid out, it'll cause a ruckus.
Yeah. Well, maybe think about it in terms of, you're gonna put out this other one, you know, timing.
Yes,
What's
yes.
the timing?
Some of these grants I know are, the one for the, oh, they all have, we're not obviously making some of these, because one says, well, the Business Ready and the T-Mobile are annual. So, like, because both of those have September deadlines, and one is September 1st, so that's not happening. The one for the semi-quincentennial is the end of December. So to me, the town, we need to, it would be silly for us not to apply for that one, just because our understanding is that there is certainly money to be had on that one, and if we can come up with a, you know, a practical way to incorporate some of those historic, you know, whether it's artwork or whatever, in a project that would help the town, seems like we should probably do it, but,
I agree.
so,
I agree.
Plus, I think the town needs to have eyes towards this town becoming more populated with younger families.
Yes.
It's happening.
I mean, I like a lot of the ideas in this whole town commons, you know, even from what was envisioned 5, 6 years ago when it was originally talked about, you know, having a little picnic shelter or even the little amphitheater, which I'm sure you've all been to Teton Village. Have you seen that sort of little,
Yeah,
really
it's pretty,
small?
it's really pretty cool,
Yeah, but it's
actually.
like stones you can sit on. It's not huge. And I think that's sort of what they were envisioning for this, you know, and maybe
I
that
think you
there's
have
a,
it, there's a picture in here somewhere.
is it further back in the?
Yeah, let me see, and I'll show it to you.
Yeah, it might be in the other document.
Here
There
it
was-
is, right here.
Yeah. They might have even used the Teton Village picture.
Yeah, you did,
Yeah.
yeah, I saw this, we were up there one day.
Right. I
It's
just-
just got a cloth cover on it.
Yeah, something like shade sail or whatever, but just, I mean, they're, you know how they have, you know, like Shakespeare in the park kind of thing. You know, you
Yeah.
could do those sorts
And
of
there's-
things
There's just a
there.
big cement pad, there's actually not any, there's not any band shell or anything like that, it's just,
Yeah.
it's just open and there's picnic tables there and kind of a,
I mean,
just a common area.
Could even be an area where, you know, the future farmer's market is held over there instead of in the parking
Yeah, out
lot
of the
here,
park,
sort
right.
of thing, right?
Yeah,
So, I think there's a lot of goodness that can be done over there. It's just getting enough, support for it, I think, to move forward with something in phases, so. Okay, all right, well, we'll be talking about that one as, in the coming months, for sure. All right, next item on the agenda, items to be turned over to the town council. I don't think we have anything other than, Clerk Hurd, you were going to confirm with Carrie, she's gonna get those letters out.
Yep, I will.
Okay, that's really not town council, that's, action items for the next meeting. The only thing we have is that, just for everyone to be aware, that we will be doing the public hearing on the plat amendment on the 10th, which we'll address any public comments that come in, and we'll need to make a recommendation to approve or deny to the town council.
Is that our next meeting then?
Yes, on the 10th.
Okay.
I will not be here in that next meeting.
Okay, so that you'll be here on the 10th, but not the next one? Okay, great. All right,
Okay. And are we meeting on Tuesdays or Wednesdays?
well,
Or some months?
We've been through this.
yes,
Oh,
so,
I missed the
no, sorry.
discussion. I don't
We
really
were talking
care.
ahead of time. I think what we're gonna do for right now is we're gonna stick with Wednesday for the first meeting and stick with Tuesday for the second.
Okay, that's
Just
fine.
because right now the council wants to stick with Wednesday evening for their second meeting. Haven't been able to move that, so that's gotten in the way of the second Wednesday that the planning commission used to do, so. All right, any other save grounds? All right, could I get a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. We are adjourned at 6:20.